here on Saturday afternoon, January 30, and I've just finished giving a YouNow friend a helping hand with some grammar. I had to print out what she had written, and then I put it on the Microsoft Word, and I corrected the grammar and the story as I saw it. And I tried to upload the file to Skype, but because she uses Skype on an iPhone, for some reason it wouldn't accept the file, so I converted it to PDF and tried again, and I still don't know if she can open the file. I'm a little bit in no man's land, and I'm a complete tyro when it comes to things. I have no idea how I can upload the file to an iPhone. Of course, I need the contact, but there's always Google, and there's always instructions. Hello, Free Princess, eh? Yes, I was just saying that I just tried to upload a file to a YouNow friend via Skype. A new person is watching. Hello, new person. And she couldn't open it. I converted it to PDF, and still she couldn't open it. But she's using an iPhone, whereas I'm using a laptop. So there's obviously some difference between uploading to Skype on a computer. MGC Punk Colours. Hello, MGC Punk Colours. Yes, so I guess I'll have to go to Google, and once this young lady lets me know her iPhone contact, I'll then have to get onto Google and find out how to do it. Learning all the time. Oof. It's still mighty warm here. We had a very hot day here today. It's still 33 degrees C in my shed office, which is 92 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry, I've got something stuck between my teeth. That's better. So, yes, I contacted her, but she was getting ready for bed, and I left a message that I converted it to PDF, so maybe it will open. I couldn't open it, but then maybe I'm not supposed to open it. I don't know. A Texas 18 is here. Hello, A Texas 18. Yes, all these technological things are a bit of a worry for me, but I'm learning all the time. And anyhow, I'm sure I'll be able to sort it out, one way or the other. 1,262 fans. Holy moly. That's a lot of fans. That is a lot of fans. Oh. Cheers. It's tea. Yeah, so I don't know. I've never had any trouble before when you're talking on Skype and you're using a laptop or desktop. It's easy to send files, but... Oh, right. Twitter, okay. Well, I think most of you young people are pretty savvy when it comes to most things to do with information and technology, so maybe MGC Punk Colours can tell me that if I've got someone's iPad contact number, iPhone, how I can send a Word file to her phone, because she uses Skype on her phone, and I don't know how to do it. Oh, good. I wasn't planning on doing this broadcast now because it's getting close to 6 o'clock in the evening. I like to watch the news, always like to watch the news at 6 o'clock, so I'll be saying toodaloo when it gets close to 6 o'clock. But I might do another broadcast later tonight. Yeah. And it's usually cooler than anyhow because She asked me to correct the grammar in an essay she had written. So she popped the pages up. I was able to print them out of what she's written. I'm from Australia, and I put I wrote out all she'd written on Word, Microsoft Word, and when I finished the file, I then tried to, upload it to Skype, but Skype wouldn't accept it, she said. She couldn't open it. So I converted it to PDF, and I opened up and I uploaded it again, but I don't know, because she's gone to bed. So she's, I don't know if she can open it or not. Well, I thought about that. I thought about asking her about her email address. I will do that too, but as I say, she's gone to bed now. But still, it's only late Friday night, I think, there in the US, on the West Coast. So I'll get in contact with her tomorrow. She needs it by Monday, so she'll have it in plenty of time. Yeah. You have to excuse me. As I said, it's very... I live in the state of New South Wales, which is on the east coast, and I live in the mid-north coast area, which is between Sydney and Brisbane, and in a place called Coffs Harbour, and I live about 5 kilometres due west of the South Pacific Ocean, or the Tasman Sea, as it is often referred to. Oh. Oh. You'd be most welcome. You'd be most welcome to Australia. All visitors are. In fact, we've got a new campaign, or the federal government's instigated a new advertising campaign, and get people to visit Australia, showing what we have to offer, and we have a lot. But it's like any country, isn't it? You know, they've all got their own special things on offer. Great Britain, for instance, it's a very old country. It goes back thousands of years in history. The United States, its history isn't that old. It's a little bit older than Australia. We're just into our 228th year of settlement. But in the United States, it goes back to the founding fathers in the early 1700s, which is the early 18th century, I think, from memory. And of course, the difference is that the United States is a republic and we are a monarchy. It doesn't make any real difference. Yeah. I'm just looking out the door of my shed office, and the sun is starting to slowly go down. I'll be glad to see it gone. Because last night it cooled down appreciably. It was lovely outside, especially about 2 o'clock in the morning. I went outside and it was beautifully cool. And I was looking at the stars, and I bought a telescope not too long ago. Well, they're pretty corrupted here in Australia too, Texas 18, I can tell you. And I'd ordered an adapter for my Canon camera to fit onto the telescope, and it hasn't arrived yet. I've been waiting for a month. You wouldn't think it'd take that long for something to arrive, would you? And of course, we've got not quite a full moon, and last night Venus was pretty close to the moon. Would have made a fantastic shot through the telescope. But isn't it always the way? Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of these suppliers need I think they need an enema with a high pressure hose to get them off the backside and start posting stuff out. I suppose they use the Christmas break as an excuse. It's not good enough. If you've got customers, you look after them 24/7. No way to run a business. You get it out quick smart. I've had a couple of businesses and I never left my customers waiting. I once had a mobile automotive accessory business. We used to specialise in pinstriping. And Even when I'd finished my run, if someone rang up and they wanted me to go and do it, I'd go and do it. If time permitted, of course. As long as I had the daylight, you can't pinstripe during the night. No. I was going to make a video. I've had some pinstriping left over, but it had been left over for about 2 decades. And I resurrected an old filing chest. And I was going to pinstripe it, make a video out of it, but the stripe wouldn't stick. So I couldn't do it. Yeah, so not the hand-painted striping, the actual tape. I was pretty good at it too, without beating my own drum. One of the biggest jobs I ever had was a Firebird, not a Camaro, Thunder Firebird. I can't think what the vehicle is, but it's got a huge wind Firebird on the bonnet and a massive pinstriping all around it. It took me hours to do. I didn't buy the bird, the Firebird, but the chap who bought it said it cost him, and this is going back 20 years, said it cost something like $800 then. I was a little bit nervous putting it on, I can tell you. I didn't want to ruin $800 worth of decal. Oh, that tea is good. Well, it's getting close to 6 o'clock. I'll be back tonight, I think. I'll be back. I usually broadcast anywhere from 10 midnight. I know there's a big difference there, but that's when I usually broadcast. And I'm really enjoying it, because I'm only new to YouNow. I've only been doing this for about less than 2 weeks. And I'm doing okay for an old fella. Yes, I also tried to do something else different. I think it was yesterday. I bought a couple of extendable USB leads, and also bought a 4-part USB unit that I could plug into my laptop and plug my 2 Logitech C920 cameras into. And I thought, I'll be able to go live here on YouNow, and I'll simply be able to just use one camera and then plug in the other, and no, wouldn't work. Didn't work. Or every time I put another camera in, the broadcast stopped. So then I got on to Google and I found out what I could do. There's XSplit and there's Manycam and all this sort of stuff. But I downloaded the free version of Manycam and it was no good. I don't know what the paid versions are like, but the free Taylor MO711 is here. Hello, and Ryan121 is here. Ryan121, I think you are a regular visitor. Rings a bell. But you'll have to forgive me, my friends, because this heat really plays havoc on me. Yes. Yeah. And so I'm okay, thank you, Ryan. It's very hot here in my shed office. Yes, it's about 90 odd degrees and the humidity's high. We just had a little bit of rain, and that's made the humidity even worse. It's the humidity that's the worst thing. You can stand the heat, but when the humidity gets up, it just drains you of energy. Or it does me anyhow. See, a lot of folks who have breathing problems, say who have asthma or bronchitis, and like me, I've got emphysema, they find the heat and humidity better for them. But the cold's better for me. That's why I like the cold weather. I don't like being cold, but I like the cold weather, if you understand what I mean. You sleep better when it's cold. They're all snuggle up. You can put the electric blanket on, get in a warm bed, grab a good book. Oh, there's nothing like it. And when I go away camping in the winter, oh, it's just sheer heaven. Have a roaring campfire and sit there under a night sky that is truly a vision splendid. Oh, can't get enough of it. Just love the peace and quiet and solitude. I tell you what, my friends, if you've never sat in front of a campfire before, you want to get a group of friends together and go and do so. Because there's nothing more relaxing, nothing more friendly than a campfire. I know you can lose yourself to the flames. And if you stare long enough, you can start seeing shapes in it. It's true. And the flames are always changing in colour and shape. But I love camping out. I just wish I lived in the bush, as we call it here in Oz, the great Australian outdoors. To me, there is nothing better. I'm just very fortunate I have a cousin who has a rural property, and I can go there and stay on his property. It's wonderful, on top of the mountain. I'll be going there probably, end of May. I'll be heading off for 3 months. I think my wife probably can't wait to get rid of me. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Because we've been married nearly 42 years. And I think she enjoys being by herself for a while too. Because she's always doing things. She's never satisfied with the way a room or even an entire house looks. She's got to keep changing things, and it drives me nuts. That's why I isolate myself down here in my shared office. You know, she must have changed her office in the house around a dozen times, but still she's not happy with it. I don't know if that's atypical of most women. No idea at all. But geez, I just make myself scarce. So when I go away, she can tear the place upside down if she likes and have stuff, you know, lying all over the place. I'm not here, so it doesn't matter. Bad enough after you go grocery shopping and there's bags of groceries all over the place in the kitchen. I don't like mess. And neither does she, really. You know, I believe a place for everything and everything in its place, but everything ends up in its place eventually. But it takes a long while. She went shopping by herself yesterday. Yeah, hiding in my man cave. Yes, my fortress of solitude. Every man, and I'd say every woman should have a cave. A woman cave, a man cave, whatever. And with my wife, she's got her office, and I've got my shed office. And doesn't stop her coming down here, but no, I often see her toddling down the path down here to the shed, and I think, uh-oh, what's wrong now? No, but of course, being married for as long as we have, we are the best of friends. We're good mates, really good mates. And I think it doesn't hurt a marriage. Once you've been married for a little while, I don't think it hurts if people, the man and the woman, husband and wife, take a break from each other. Denver S is watching. Hello, Denver S. Yes. I don't think it hurts at all. I think a break from each other does a world of good. I think maybe you appreciate each other more often. More. Grandpa. Me, Grandpa. I'm not a grandfather, actually. I've got 2 adult sons, one's 31, one's 34 this year. And they're both in relationships, but there's no grandchildren. That's disappointing for my wife. She was always hoping she'd become a grandmother. But I don't think it's going to happen. Such is life. And besides, you never miss what you never have. I don't think so, anyway. I've always wanted to have a rural property ever since I was a little boy. Because I fell in love with the Australian bush when I was a kid. But I quickly learned that to buy a good-sized rural property cost a lot of money. It did then, 50, 60 years ago, and it still does. A friend of mine, yes, you're right, Mr. Pock one. Yes, you're absolutely right. It's a decision they make because it's very hard in these financial times. Buying land, you can get a lousy little post-stamp-sized piece of land that costs you $250,000, and then you've got to build a house that could cost you another $300,000. Well, that's what it's like here in Australia. And a lot of these young people, if they decide to buy a house, end up with a $500,000 mortgage, and they've both got to work. And if the woman happens to fall pregnant, that really throws the cat among the pigeons. It's very hard to get by on one wage in Australia. Australia is one of the most expensive countries in the world to live. That's true. Everything here in Australia is expensive. Our exports are cheaper though, because our dollar compared to the American dollar is way down. I think it's only 70 cents in the American dollar. And I think The only place where our dollar is worth more is New Zealand. I think we're worth about $1.07 in New Zealand. But yes, it's owning your own home here in Australia has always been the great Aussie dream, and it's getting harder and harder for the young folk to realise that dream. But I think some of them never will. Maybe even most of them never will. They'll end up renting, and that's a waste of money. And well, on one hand, it's a waste of money. But on the other hand, maybe not. It depends on your psychology. But rental properties are very hard to find here in Australia. Holy smoke, it's nearly 6. Will you mind if I put the television on? I'll put it on mute, and I can lip read a bit because I've lost most of my hearing, and I've got hearing aids in now, but I can do a fair bit of lip reading sometimes. But I like to keep informed. I like to know what's going on in the world. Yeah. Madison 0445 is watching. Hello, Madison. Wow, we've got more bad storms hit. I'm not sure where this is. One hit Corokai. That's on the south coast, I think. Yeah, one hit Sydney yesterday. Knocked down huge trees and what do you mean what? Madison 0445? Wow, trees are down everywhere. Yeah, we've had a lot of bad storms here of late. Not here in Coffs Harbour, but in Sydney and in the Hunter region and further down the south coast. Well, it is the storm season here in Australia. And it's also the wet season up north, around in the Northern Territory, around Darwin, the capital of the Northern Territory. Mr. Spock. Yeah, just wind and rain. Yeah. Occasionally there's been a lot of there's been hailstones, and some have been as big as cricket balls. Do a lot of damage. Kill you. Got caught out in it. Yeah. But there's nothing unusual about this weather. Everyone goes on about climate change, but I think that's all a lot of baloney. I think most of those who are going on about climate change haven't lived long enough to experience the weather extremes here in Australia. They say, there's a hole in the ozone layer. Well, of course there's a hole in the ozone layer because ozone needs sunlight. And when there isn't sunlight on the North and South Poles for about 4 or 5 months of the year, there's a hole in the ozone layer. Simple. It's got nothing to do with climate change. It's just common sense. Wow. There's nothing unusual. I could show you that, but I can get it up what I'm actually looking at. The storms, the rain, look at it. Down trees, all too common. Smashing into people's cars and houses, but there you are. There's a quick look at the news. Here in Australia, at 3 minutes past 6 in the evening. Whoops. Did you enjoy that little look? Yeah, I know. I'm a bit of a silly bugger, I know. Well, I've never really totally grown up. I still suffer from Peter Pan syndrome. The boy never grew up. There's still a kid in me. Just showing some lightning. It's savage, ferocious. The power of nature. You can't fight it. You just got to grin and bear it the best you can. I remember here in Coffs Harbour. This is going back a few years ago. We had a sudden wind gust. I mean, it must have been 100 kilometres an hour or more. Because I'm sitting here and I could see a shed down in the backyard here, and I saw the roof start to lift. And next thing, it gets peeled off and back. But there wasn't any rain with it, which was good because it's the mower shed where you keep the mower and the line trimmer and all things like that. So then I had to put it back on, and I made sure this time it'd stay on. Come hell or high water, it will stay on. I'll be really glad. I'll be really glad when the summer's over with. Yes, we do get tornadoes in Australia occasionally. Yes, there was one hit just north of Sydney about 3 months ago. A place called Kurnell. Used to be an oil refinery there, but it's closed down since. Oh, it made a hell of a mess. Yes, it ripped roofs off houses and flattened trees and blew over trucks and all this sort of. Yeah, we get the odd tornado here. We get more cyclones though, especially up in the north, way up in the north, in the Coral Sea area. We have these cyclones that come in, and they'll come in. Well, we haven't had a cyclone this season, but normally they come in and then they work their way around the coast, and then they come down the south coast, and then they develop into tropical lows, and you get weeks and weeks of rain. I mean, it will, sometimes here in my hometown, it will rain for 3 weeks on end non-stop. And the wet season is not the time to go bush up in the Northern Territory, because you can get stranded there for months during the wet season. The chap who's doing the news, sorry, I just spat something out then, I apologise for that. The chap doing the news hasn't got, I can't read his lips very well. Thank you, Mr. Spock. I will return the favour, I promise. I always do. When I finish a broadcast, I see who has fanned me, and I go and return the favour. I think it's the least I can do. It's like anyone who subscribes to my YouTube channel. I just subscribe in return as a way of saying thank you. Cheers. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, somebody has to be the bitch from hell. I've been asked that before. It's my favourite tea mug. Do have another one with the F word on it. My younger boy bought that one. I thought it was funny. I can't remember the saying, but I thought it was funny. You see, sometimes using the F word can make you laugh, and sometimes it'll make you cringe and you take offence. I don't like using foul language on social media. You'll never hear me swear. But I watched the broadcast last night because this young friend of mine was doing a broadcast, and these two young fellas, they let fly with the F word and a few other profanities, and I didn't like that. XX Rachel is Bomb XX is watching. Hello. Oh, I'd really like to know people's Christian names. There's a couple I can remember, but there's Brittany, there's Holly, there's Austin. Hello, XX Rachel. Maybe Rachel is your Christian name. Is it? What do I like to build? I do a lot of metal sculptures because my wife's always asking for metal sculptures for the garden. And I'll fabricate things if I need to build something. I always build it out of metal rather than timber. Whatever I need to do. I'm planning at the moment to do a metal sculpture, a half-size T-Rex skull. But I've got to make up a small pipe bender. I'll make a video out of that and upload to... Oh yes, you see the tools. Well, that's only a little bit of them, Rachel. In front of me, and over here on the bench, there's a TIG welder, and there's a grinder behind here, and there's a plasma cutter, and there's 3 welders, and there's all sorts of tools. See, power tools, drills. Yeah, but it's sort of a lifetime collection of things. All this stuff here is what you collect for your lifetime. But yes, this T-Rex skull, it's going to be a challenge. I think it's going to take me a long while to build it because it's got all those teeth. But it's just something I wanted to do. I haven't even started on it yet because I've got to make this pipe bender. I could buy one, but I've got the metal here and I can make one. Trouble is, the little bottle jack I'm going to use is in my 4-wheel drive, and my 4-wheel drive is in the workshop getting attended to. So I've got to wait till I get it back. And it's been there now, must be going on 3 weeks. And why, you might ask? Well, there's a special part that has something to do with the four-wheel drive transfer box. They call it a solenoid, and it's located on the floor under the passenger seat. And what happened was, a few months ago, the battery kept being drained. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me what was going on. I thought it was the alternator, but it turned out to be this solenoid. I took it to the workshop, and it had been compromised by water. There was water getting into the cab. Now, you know what these idiots in the workshop did? You see, me, as soon as I found out that this solenoid had been compromised by water, I would have been thinking, where's the water coming from? We should fix the leak before we charge this bloke $1,000. Yes, you're hearing right, $1,000 for this new part and $450 to fit it. And what do? No, they don't check to see if it's leaking. They just raise it up off the floor a little bit. Did it work? No, because they didn't fix the leak. 3 weeks later, it's back in the workshop because the new solenoid's packed in because it's been compromised by water. And they expected me to pay for it again, and I said, no way. The payment was your fault. You were negligent in the first place. At first, they wouldn't come to agreement. They couldn't, or they didn't want to understand what I was saying, but they said, fair enough, you keep it in the workshop, and I have some options available to me to take action, and I will. And they eventually saw reason. Said, yes, you're right. But I've still got to pay $720 to the labour for them to find the leak. That's fair enough. That's fair and just. I don't mind that at all. Would I have to pay that in the first place? But why didn't they do it in the first place? Beachy UK is watching. Hello, Beachy UK. Yeah. Now, doesn't that make perfect sense to you? If I knew there was a leak in the cab of my vehicle, no, it's never cheap at all, Mr. Spock. No, I tell you, the great spare parts rip-off. Now, it used to be said that to build a new car from spare parts would cost you 4 times as much as to purchase one off the floor, showroom floor. And I reckon it's probably 5 or 6 times now. It's a rip-off, it's a scam. Cost of spare parts. It's ridiculous. Oh, God. And one of the actions I was going to take was, I thought, okay, I'll get the local channel, television station here, Prime 7, and I'll go to them and say, would you like to do a story? And I was going to make up a banner, unfair practice, and I was going to demonstrate at the front of the workshop. And I think that would have got the message across. I thought about legal action, but legal action is too expensive. The only ones who win in the end are the greedy lawyers and solicitors. A new person is watching. Hello, new person. Temperature's not dropping fast here. Normally around about this time in the afternoon, which is 12 past 6 now, PM, there's a breeze comes in from the northeast, a sea breeze. But it's not here today. It's probably a kookaburra. The laughing jackass, the kookaburra is often referred to, it's because it laughs. And there's Aboriginal legend has it that the kookaburra got its laugh by being perched in the branch of a tree and watching a snake below chase its tail around and around the tree. It's a pure myth, pure legend. 7:15 AM here in the UK. Well, thank you for that, because I'm always trying to figure out the time difference. It drives me nuts at times. 7:15 AM. I'm going to write that down. Thank you for that. Yes, I'm left-handed, by the way. They say all left-handers are geniuses. John Lennon was left-handed. No, Paul McCartney was left-handed. I don't know if John Lennon was or not. 7:15 PM UK. 6:15 PM. Oh, AM. Oops. AM. 6:15 PM. Oz. Is that right? That'd make it 11 hours. Yeah, that's right. I used to watch the British Open golf, and that was always 9 hours behind us. So yeah, that makes sense. It's just my jotting papers, you know. I'm jotting all the time because I'm a writer, you know, and because I write, there's always ideas pop into my head, and I've heard the song, never heard the bird. Mr. Spock, what song are you referring to? What does all the tools? Because I'm a handyman. Yeah, I do a lot of metal work, and I do a little bit of woodwork too. But the tools you see behind me, they're just, as I said before, an accumulation of half a lifetime. Yeah, I like to keep myself busy. I'm 67, I'm retired, and you've got to keep yourself busy when you're retired. Otherwise, you just sit around and eventually end up turning into a vegetable, not bothering to do anything. No, I like to keep active. In fact, I was thinking today I'd upload a video of mine. As I said, I've got a YouTube channel, and even though I got emphysema, I exercise every day. I was going to show my exercise routine. Yeah, something might be interesting. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You never try, you'll never know. And I've tried a lot of things in my life, believe you me, and failed, and failed, and failed. But you learn from your mistakes. You get up. The Kookaburra bird folk. I've never heard that. I never knew such a thing existed, Mr. Spock. The Kookaburra bird folk song. No, a new one to me. I thought if anyone would have sung a song about the Kookaburra, it would have been John Williams. He's a very well-known country and western singer. He sang a song years ago that was a big hit, Old Man Emu. Yeah. I find that funny, but I know it's not funny, but that's some older people's choice, isn't it? Excuse me. You know, they prefer once they retire to sit around and watch television and maybe read a book and snooze through the day. I've never been that type. I read a lot. I'm a very avid reader, but I only read when I go to bed, for about 20 minutes, half an hour. But that's not a life, not as far as I'm concerned. Oh, thank you for that. I'll Kookaburra song, Wikipedia. I'll check that out. Thank you, Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock, live long and prosper. I was a big Star Trek fan. Yeah, so Leonard Nimoy passed away not too long ago. Yeah, we're losing them all. They're all going. That's the trouble as you become older. You know, all the people that were once young, like myself, are now older and they're starting to die. Yes, Beachy, it is summer here now. We're close to the end of the second month of summer, and we've got February to come up, and February is usually the hottest. And then it will gradually start to slow down over April. Once we get into May, the weather, of course, we're into autumn then, and the weather gets very amicable. And then come around about the end of May, I'm off. I pack up my four-wheel drive and I'm off camping. You haven't had any snow yet? Oh, well. There's been a lot of rain over in England, but of late, hasn't there? It was on the news the last couple of weeks. Big floods in some areas. Nothing unusual about that either, because I think that's happened over there quite a few times in the last few years. And we have the same thing here. No, we have droughts and flooding rains. We have bushfires during the summer season. Yeah. And you know, lightning causes a lot of the bushfires. Right. Yeah, lightning causes a lot of the bushfires. But sometimes the school kids get so bored that they go out and deliberately light fires at little urchins. Oh, some kids fair income. You don't know what enjoyment you can get out of doing something so silly, so stupid, that can endanger people's lives, but it's happened. And kids have even burnt down schools. I mean, I hated school too, but I never went to that extreme not to go to school. Yeah. But it's always happened, isn't it? You know, there's always that minority, that little fringe element. Yes, always that little fringe element. Still, there's no accounting for human behaviour, is there? I just don't understand that sort of thing, but you know, we have a big problem here in Australia with binge drinking among the young. Yeah, it's a big problem. We also have an ice epidemic. But you know, there's a lot of young people just wait for Friday and Saturday night so they can go out with the sole purpose of getting drunk. I've never drank in my life. I'm a teetotaler. Oh, I don't care if people drink. Yeah. No, I don't care if they drink. I don't see the sense in getting so drunk that you don't know where you are, what's happening, and it's particularly dangerous to young women. Joshua is watching. Hello, Joshua. You know, yeah, there's always the predators around, just waiting for all these young women to leave a drink so they can spike it. Never leave your drink unattended. No way. I agree, Mr. Spock. I did taste a beer once when I was young, and I just didn't like the taste. That was enough for me. Trouble is, I started smoking when I was 17, because back in those days, that was in 1965. Back in those days, it seemed everyone smoked. They didn't, but it seemed that way. And I stopped and started, stopped and started, stopped and started. And then I finally quit, more than 20 years ago now. And then 5 years later, just 5 years ago, I get diagnosed with emphysema. Go figure, eh? But there's no guarantees in life, except for death and taxes. But that's the way it goes, doesn't it? You know, you can do all the right things. You can look after yourself, you can exercise regularly, you can have a good diet, don't drink, don't smoke. But then you could just step off the curb and be hit by a bus or a truck. Game over. No, there's no guarantees. Wow. The Kookaburra bird folks, I'm really interested in that. That just got my interest. It has piqued my interest, Mr. Spock. I can read a little bit of what this bloke's saying, but I can't read a lot. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the news goes for an hour here. I always watch the 6 p.m. news through the week and on the weekend, but I also watch a current affair. It's looks like I'm wearing a horse blanket, doesn't it? Yeah, and watch a current affair. Oh, there's a few television shows I like. Tonight, on Sunday night, tomorrow night at 8:30, the first of the 6 episode special series of the X-Files is on. I'm a big X-Files fan. Really looking forward to it. I just hope it lives up to all the hype. Oh yeah, we have soccer's big here in Australia. Yeah, I never thought it would be, but yeah, it's really big. Yeah. Yes, that's absolutely right, Mr. Spock. You live it one day at a time. That's what I do. Yesterday's but a memory. Tomorrow's yet to come. There's only today. And that's how I live my life, one day at a time. And that's what we should do. That's what we all should do. But there's so many people in such a hurry these days, aren't they? They can't happen fast enough. They want everything done yesterday. I suppose I was in a bit of a hurry too when I was younger. Time couldn't go fast enough. It never did when I was at school. It seemed to drag by. I hated school, I really did. Couldn't see the point in what on most of the subjects they taught. You know, I like woodwork and metalwork and tech drawing. I was a whiz at maths. I've always been a whiz at maths. But as for English, history, science, I couldn't see the point in it. And yet here I am a writer. You know? And I was lousy at grammar and in English. But now I'm very good with grammar. But you've got to be when you write. But you learn. You learn as you write. You know, the dictionary is when I write, is my next best friend. No, don't spoil them for me, Mr. Spock, please don't. I think the first episode, from what I've seen and all the hype, has something to do with the Roswell incident. Saucer coming in and crashing. Yeah. I saw a 20-minute YouTube video. It was an interview with, what's the name of the guy who came up with the series? Isn't it terrible? It's terrible when you get old and you can't think of the name. Carter? Anyhow, they were interviewing him, and he was saying that he wanted, Chris Carter, that's it, thank you, Mr. Spock. He said he wanted the saucer coming in is computer graphics. But he said the saucer they actually see is real. He had a 50-foot diameter saucer built because he wanted them to get the actors to get the impact of looking at a 50 diameter foot saucer. That's setting back a lot of money. Spared no expense. Yes. But yes, I'm really looking forward to that. And I like to watch NCIS and My Kitchen Rules. I don't know why I like My Kitchen Rules, I just do. But God, there's a lot of cooking shows on television. Seems every man his dog cooks. Oh, I can cook. Yeah. There's quite a few YouTube videos there, Mr. Spock, about the series. But the one with Chris Carter was very interesting. Yeah. And it also spoke to the two main stars, David Duchovny and here I go again. Can't think of her name. Dana Scully. But yes, Gillian Anderson. Geez, thank you, Mr. Spock. I could use you by my side all the time. And she still looks good. Only she's more mature. I bet she still looks good. Still easy on my eyes. And David Duchovny doesn't look too bad either. But no, I'm really glad they got together. And decided that they probably got convinced because there was a big payroll involved. I know in the early part of the X-Files, they didn't get on too well. And there was a lot of conflict between the two of them. Anyhow, they obviously sorted it all out. But anyhow, money changes everything, doesn't it? It certainly does. Money's the bottom line. Oh, God, you know what? I'm going to have to say goodbye, my friends. I'm just sweating profusely here. I've got a fan going on my bench over here, but it's doing absolutely nothing. And my wife has got an air conditioner. Her office is air conditioned. I don't want to go in there with her, but I'm certainly going to go outside and get some fresh air. But I might be back tonight. Yes, Mr. Spock, it was nice talking to you too. And thank you for helping me out, for filling in the gaps that my mind provided. Getting old is not what it's cracked up to be. But then on the other hand, alright, look my friends, I do thank you very much for watching, and I may be back tonight somewhere between 10 and midnight when it's cooler, or hopefully it will be cooler. So each and every one of you take care, thank you again, and until then, bye for now.